Hello, besties. Welcome to another episode of Your New B.F.F. I'm your host, Sophie, and in this podcast, we chit chat all about positivity, realness, and the journey to your highest self. After this episode, I want you to leave feeling inspired and high vibe. So let's tune in because I'm so excited you're here with me today. Hello, besties. Welcome back to the next episode of YNBFF. We are here, episode 43. I am so excited to get to episode 100. And this is just me right now, you guys. This is the mood because I am visualizing 2024. I am ready to put out so many episodes for you guys because there is so much to chit chat about. You see, I'm already jumping ahead of myself and I am ready to manifest our next level self. I'm saying our because you guys are tuned in today for a reason. And today I want to get into our chit chat about excuses and all these little things that we tell ourselves to get out of the things that we know that we need to do. And the things that we know that we need to do to get into alignment and closer to our manifestation and goals and our next level self, right? Like the goal. So these little excuses will rise from limiting beliefs that have been secretly taking root in our minds and have essentially been taking over and controlling our narrative and keeping us from accomplishing the things that we know will make us truly more fulfilled, more happy, and in the path of alignment to our next level self. And these types of justifications will kind of sound like blaming things on external factors, or I'm too young for this, I'm too old for this, I don't have enough experience, I don't have that specific skill, I don't have enough money, or there's not enough time. Like, just basically all these little stories that we tell ourselves. And it's these little things that we're continuously telling ourselves to talk us out of the action steps that are necessary to make shit happen. So, before we just get further deep into this episode, if you guys are new here, I start each episode with a quote that's going to lead us into today's chit chat. And today's quote, it's very short, it's very punchy, and it gets to the point. Like, love quotes like this. It's by Roy T. Bennett. So shout out to Roy. Make improvements, not excuses. I effing love this quote because it's basically just telling us, like, instead of the excuse, just make some sort of improvement. It doesn't say that the improvement has to be huge, that the improvement has to be this specific type of thing. Is just make an improvement instead of the excuse. And I love that because that's exactly what we're chit-chatting about today. And these types of excuses just basically just stem from like these negative thought patterns and limiting beliefs, right? And they're sneaky and that's what I was saying earlier, that they're like secretly rooted in there, because I feel like there's these constant little narratives or excuses that we might be telling ourselves that we don't even realize that we're telling ourselves, right? Because we've just become so used to these excuses, or basically so used to letting the excuse run us, right? So if we're consistently making excuses to why can't we achieve something or why things are not working out, this is basically just reinforcing these thought patterns. So the more that we tell ourselves the excuse, the more this negative thought pattern and belief is basically just planting roots in your brain, right? I always tell you guys, like, consistency, no matter if it's good consistency, bad consistency, consistently good thoughts or consistently negative, they're taking root. So if we're constantly telling ourselves like, oh, I just don't have enough time, I just don't have enough money, I don't have the proper equipment to do that, it's just never going to happen, right? Because we're just continuously telling ourselves these narratives that are not true. So all these excuses are not true, right? It's just an excuse. That's just what it is. So I want you guys to know that you are worthy of your next level self. And wherever you are right now in your circumstance, you can start now. You can make an improvement and you can take the step to your aligned self. So don't think about the journey. Don't think about how far you are. Like, oh my God, it's going to take me forever to get there, right? Like, if we're just taking the route of me and the podcast, like, oh my God, it's going to take me forever to get to a million streams. What if I can't upload on this certain platform? What if I get banned from YouTube? What if I'm getting hate comments? What if it gets shadow banned? Like, I can come up with so many different excuses. You see what I did there? But they're basically all just taking me out of alignment. you know, I can't concentrate right now. I'll do it tomorrow when I'm in a better place. Like, the list can go on and on. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about because it's these little narratives that we tell ourselves. And these just come from a place of fear, besties. Like, they're not coming from a place of love, because anxiety and creating this anxiety in our head can lead to procrastination, which basically leads us to not getting anything done. And that comes from a place of fear because we're blaming outside sources. We're not, we don't believe we're worthy of it, right? It's leading us to not act on what we know we need to be doing out of fear. It could be from the fear of failure, the unknown, the discomfort of, just of facing a task, of learning something new. And it can stem from so many different places. But acknowledging this anxiety of where our excuse is stemming from, and practicing self compassion when it comes up can definitely help us overcome this and overcome these negative emotions, and basically just kickstart our productivity, because we are really doing ourselves a disservice and taking 10 steps back after we've done so much progress by telling ourselves all these excuses and not getting done what we need to. So it's amazing to be manifesting and doing our rituals and our practices and journaling. But if we're not taking the action steps that we know that we need to, we're not going to get there, or it might just take us so much longer, right? We can't just sit back and expect the universe to do it all. We are a co creation in this process. So, this is very different than, taking the time at the end of the week to indulge in all your favorite desserts after like killing it and accomplishing your goals for that quarter or whatever, or taking much needed rest after getting all your priorities done for the week, or planning a staycation after working your booty off and meeting your business goals. This is different because we're not talking about, okay, this is coming from a place of self-care, self-love, well needed rest, right? These types of excuses that we're talking about. And I just saw 444, so angel number for all of us there listening. These excuses come from a place of scarcity. They come from a place of avoiding the tasks, right? We're basically trying to just like talk ourselves out of the steps because it's stemming from essentially fear, low self worth, thought patterns that are feeling us into these lower vibrations. So, now that we, chit chatted about all these little excuses and narratives, which by the way, we all have been there, right? Like, even for myself, like, there have been so many times where I know I have to film, record a podcast episode, and I might start with the little excuses. Like, maybe I start with like, oh my gosh, I should have a better microphone, or those thoughts do still creep in, and it happens. But this is what this community is for. This is what this podcast is for, to bring mindfulness and to have a like-minded bestie to chit chat with, and bring it up and get ourselves back in alignment. So Essentially, these patterns are just keeping us in these low vibrations and out of alignment. So, how are we going to transmute this, right? Because that's what I'm here for. This is what your bestie's for. We have to give ourself grace and compassion. So, it's literally not going to do us any good by just getting upset and feeling all bully ourselves about it. This is just not the productive way to go about it. So, give yourself self compassion. Getting down on yourself and not taking action and beating yourself up about it is just going to keep you down and only delay the process. So, the silver lining is that you are here and ready to take the next step to your higher self. And that's what we're all here for. And to basically just feel good about the person that you are, the person that you are becoming. So, I want you to know who you are at your core. And if you are experiencing these little excuses, which, been there, if you're experiencing procrastination or self doubt, fear of taking action or taking more action, sometimes we can get stuck in the same patterns, and like we're not seeing quantum leaps, we're not seeing big changes in our lives because we kind of get stuck in that same pace of action, right? So this is all part of the human experience. And if you are here, you are here for a reason, because nothing is a coincidence, and the universe works in mysterious ways. It works in our favor, and you are here meant to listen to this message. So before we just continue in this episode, I just want you guys to take a deep breath in and out. Release any negative self-talk, any shame around these excuses or downward spiral that you've been on. We're in this present moment, and I want you to kind of tap in with yourself right now. Tap in with yourself. How do you feel right now? And listening to this, do you feel that you give yourself these excuses to avoid taking action steps? Like, are these things coming up for you? Because you know what you need for your path of manifestation. So let's just take one deep breath in. Allow yourself compassion and forgiveness. And when you take your breath out, let go of any resentful emotions. Be now in this present moment, ready to take your next powerful decision, which is being aware and mindful of your mindset and taking the next step of being here to raise your frequency and awareness and consciousness, even if it's just 1%, because it's all about improvement and not excuses. So I love taking that moment in the middle of the podcast episode to just be in awareness. Meditation, besties, is such a great place to start with awareness on basically deep diving into yourself on where these excuses come from. And you don't even have to be asking yourself these questions. Just in meditation, let it all come. Observe whatever comes through your mind, and you will slowly continue to get intuitive downloads and answers from source. So, are these excuses coming because are we really tired or overworking ourselves? Or is it because we really want to love ourselves, give ourselves some more self care, take care of our well being and our mindset and energy? Or is this coming from a place of fear, anxiety, shame, disappointment? All these feelings that are in the low end of the spiral. And it's not where we want to be in the manifestation process, in the journey to our higher self. But our emotions are indicators. So if it is coming from a place of fear or anxiety or any of those feelings, this is an indicator of what's going on around us inside of us, in our mind. And that's basically what our mood and emotions is, besties. So it's basically telling us what's going on. So when we're giving ourselves these excuses, how do we feel in those moments? And by being aware of our emotions, we're going to be able to better navigate and guide our path into what is meant for us. Because as soon as we're about to start giving ourselves these excuses, I feel powerless. I'm so far from my goal. I don't feel worthy of being a podcaster because I don't have the best fancy mic or camera. Like, girl, right? Like, you can start right where you are, okay? Because this journey is about fulfillment. And like I said, it is a journey. We're not meant to know like the end goal, right? Like we have an end goal of what we want to manifest, but the beauty is in the journey. And it's a journey through our entire life. We tend to overly complicate things, and I do that as well. But the pursuit of your passion should be fueling you and should be making you feel alive and energized and happy. And obstacles and challenges are all a part of the journey, but we are, instead of going to see them as stressors and as big inconveniences, we're going to start seeing them from a different lens. We're going to start seeing them as lessons, as opportunities for growth, as tests. The process of achieving your dreams must bring you a sense of fulfillment. And when things are brand new or when you're trying something for the first time, it might not feel that way right away. But the visualization of your dream and having it here right now, that motivation and that feeling is what needs to fuel you and fire you up to complete the tasks and actions that you guys need to. So, the more excuses that we're making, the further in the downward spiral we get, the heavier this energy becomes. The procrastination and delay is just pulling us down and just keeping us in this rut. So, we can shift this behavior in ourselves by reflecting on our goals and starting small. It can be so easily to like overwhelm ourselves with all the things we have to do. Like it can become a lot. So I totally get it, you guys. But these excuses are limiting, and they're limiting us in ways that we can be so much closer to our dream, right? So it's important to identify them. And when they start to come up, just reframe your mindset and how can you just improve, right? You don't have to like get up and do this crazy ass workout where you're like, girl, I am so tired. I worked such a long shift and I'm not in the mood to go work out for like 2 damn hours. But it's like, okay, but can you work out for 30? Can you swap out one of those extra Netflix episodes for maybe a yoga session? Right? Like maybe you don't have the energy to do like a hit workout, but you can do a yoga workout. Or maybe you don't have, the energy to get all your business calls done, but you may have the energy to finish the book that you started. Break it down into manageable steps. So when the excuse starts to come up, how can you just improve? What's one thing you can do? Because we have to start by replacing the negative beliefs with empowering ones. And when we replace that excuse with an improvement and just one action step that can follow that empowering thought, that is what's going to keep you going each time you have those pesky little thoughts. We must switch it up, right? We have to become as mindful as we can. So be patient with yourself and do it enough times where this literally will start to become your new habit, your new belief. You start to replace the old and it starts to become your new truth. Every time the little excuse comes up, what can I do right now? Like, don't even let it linger, besties, because it will. It will linger. And remember that these excuses are just justifications for these self limiting beliefs. So dig deeper when they come up to know where they're coming from. Is it an excuse that's valid, or is this coming from a place of fear? Is it coming from a place of love where you want to take care of yourself for your well being and you know you need this time off because you've been putting in the work? Or is it coming from a place of, I'm just trying to avoid this task because I just don't think I'm that good at it. I just think it's going to take forever. I don't think I'm going to get to where I want to. So, like, what's the point? Okay. And if you're not sure, it's okay. Meditate on it, meditate on it, dig deeper, journal, investigate, ask yourself questions. Okay. So the only person that knows the way is you. And I am here to help guide you guys. I am your spiritual coach, your spiritual bestie. You guys know deep down if these excuses are valid or not. And I know that. So it just takes a little bit of inner work, just takes some time to differentiate it. So by recognizing these underlying factors and addressing them through our rituals and self reflection, we can overcome the tendency of this icky little habit, of these pesky little excuses. So, developing a growth mindset, which you are by already being here, and setting your goals and cultivating a positive and empowering inner dialogue. Talk to yourself nicely, foster a mindset of achieving your goals and becoming your best next level self besties in love and in humility and through source. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And if you are new here, I end each episode with 3 affirmations, which is a great idea to replace that excuse with these 3 affirmations to get you in the right vibe to take that next action step towards improvement. So here they are. I achieve what I focus on. My intentions are powerful. I am grateful to be living in my answered prayers. Besties, thank you so much for tuning in today. Please go ahead and leave me a review if you guys aren't subscribed or follow the podcast yet. Please do so. I appreciate your support, besties, so much. Follow over on the Instagram to stay up to date, and we can do like side chit chats. I'm always like wanting to mingle with you guys over there. And love you guys. Share this episode. Stay feeling high, blessed, and divine, besties. Love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.